She lay on the frozen ground, her breath fading like a candle in cold wind. The sky above was a white mirror of storm clouds, and the ruined towers around her were sharp teeth of black metal. Her violet eyes trembled and slowly closed. The pain was finally quiet. The hunger, the fear, the lonely nights done. She let go. She was ready to die. Then warmth touched her cheek. Light broke through the blur. A shadow leaned over her. A voice, calm, human, whispered, "Hey, stay with me." Don't fall asleep. Her eyes opened in shock. She expected darkness. Instead, she saw a human face, tired but gentle, framed by a cracked helmet. Snow fell on his shoulders. Steam rose from a small heater near her chest. His hands were steady. He tucked a silver blanket around her and rubbed warmth back into her arms like he had done this 1,000 times. "Can you hear me?" he asked. Blink twice. She blinked twice. The human exhaled, as if he had just pulled her from the edge of a cliff. "Good, we're not done yet." Her name was Lyra of the Varine. Once her skin shimmered like dusk water. Now it was faded and cracked with cold. She had wandered for days among broken buildings and dead machines. The war had ended, but not for the people left behind. The galactic rules said the area was closed. The council moved on. The humans pulled back. The scavengers moved in. She had not expected a human here. Humans, she was told, always finished the job. But this man was different. He lifted her with care. He carried her to a small shelter made from wrecked panels and a door cut from a shuttle hull. He set her down on a thick cloth and pushed a heater closer. The orange light painted his face with quiet focus. He did not look like a conqueror. He looked like a man who had chosen to stay alive one careful hour at a time. "Name's Marcus," he said softly. "I'll talk. You listen. If you can't talk yet, that's okay. You're safe for now." Safe. The word felt strange, like a forgotten song. He gave her warm water flavored with salt. He ground a small herb in his hand and mixed it into a paste. The smell was sharp and clean. He touched it to the cuts on her side. She hissed. He stopped immediately. "Sorry, it stings first." "Then it helps." She searched his face for cruelty. There was none. Only patience and a tired kind of kindness. She tried to speak, but the words were brittle. "Why, help me." Marcus didn't answer at once. He checked the heater again, checked her pulse, checked the seal at the door. Only then did he look her in the eyes. "Because you're alive," he said. "That's enough." Lyra stared at the ceiling. The metal above them was marked with old pilot names and a faded human flag. She had seen that flag on the shoulder of soldiers who shot at her colony from the sky. She had seen it in flames. The story said humans were cold, clever, and fast to judge. Yet this one wrapped her in warmth and watched over her as if she mattered. The storm raged outside for hours. Marcus kept the heater steady and boiled thin soup in a dented metal cup. He drank a little, then held the cup for her. She was too weak to lift it. He did not push. "We've got time," he said. "We'll do it slow. Time." Another strange word. When the storm finally died, he stepped outside to gather scrap for fuel. Lyra listened. Every sound was clear. His boots on ice, metal clinking, the gentle scrape of wind. He came back with an armful of broken drone parts and a smile like he had won a small battle. He fed the heater and sat near the door with his rifle across his knees. "Scavenger drones smell heat," he said. "We keep warmth low, sound low, light low. Live between the machines." "Live," she repeated almost to herself. He nodded. "That's the plan." Night settled like dark glass. The heater hummed. Marcus set a small lantern, dim and soft, between them. Lyra's eyes adjusted. She could now see details in his face, the rough beard, the thin scar along his jaw, the tired eyes that still held a clear, steady light. He caught her looking. "You can sleep. I'll watch." She did sleep, but not deeply. The cold had taught her to wake at every strange noise. Twice she opened her eyes to see him still at the door, quiet and still like a statue, listening to the dark as if the night itself had things to say. Morning came thin and grey. Lyra could sit up on her own. Marcus handed her a piece of dried flatbread. It was simple and salty and tasted like a promise. She ate it, and with each bite she felt something return to her, small pieces of strength, small pieces of trust. He pointed to a rough map burned into the floor with a heat rod. "We're here," he said, tapping a circle. "Old human outpost is 2 hours north. My transmitter is there. Needs a new power cell. If I fix it, maybe someone hears us. Humans, maybe, he said. Or anyone with a heart. She held his gaze. Would your people rescue a Varine? His jaw moved like he was chewing a hard answer. I don't know, he said honestly. But if we talk to them first, if I say it's under my protection, maybe. Under my protection. Warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the heater. She was not a child. She was no one's burden. But after so many days alone, the idea that someone might stand up and say she is not to be harmed felt like a soft shock in her bones. They left at noon when the wind eased. Marcus gave her a jacket lined with some synthetic fur. It was too big, but it held heat like a hug. He walked ahead with his rifle cradled, eyes scanning. She followed, her legs weak but sure. The land was full of black snow, broken antennas, dead satellite dishes. A crashed carrier lay on its side like a whale far from the sea. They were almost at the outpost when the sound came, a thin whistle that edged into a mechanical buzz. Marcus stopped and raised a hand. Lyra froze. A shape moved along the ridge, small, metallic, like a spider made of knives. Another followed. Then 3 more. Scavenger drones, Marcus said. Back slow, they took 2 careful steps, then the sky flashed. A red light cut across the snow and burned a hole in the ground where Marcus had been standing a heartbeat earlier. He pushed Lyra behind a slab of concrete. Stay low, he said, calm even now. Count to 10 between breaths. The drones came fast. Marcus fired 2 quick shots. One drone broke apart, smoking. Another turned to pursue and he hit it square in the core. The third spun up its cannon. Lyra could feel the charge crawling along the ground. Her body remembered old training, old instincts. Varine were not warriors by choice, but her people had learned to survive. Deep inside, a soft light woke in her, a hum under the skin. The drone rose to fire again. Lyra stood just a little and lifted a shaking hand. Her bioluminescence brightened from a faint glow into a sharp pulse. The drone's sensors flared white. It swung away in confusion, cannon misfiring, and shot itself in the leg. Marcus took the chance and finished it with a burst. Then a 4th drone came low and quiet. Lyra didn't see it, Marcus did. He turned, grabbed her and spun them both behind a pillar an instant before a bolt struck the ground and blew their cover into shards. The blast tossed them into the open. Marcus hit the ice. The drone hovered to aim again. Lyra moved without thinking. She stepped in front of him, hands wide, and let the light inside her surge. It hurt like tearing muscle, like breaking bone with brightness, but she did not stop. The pulse left her palms in a clean wave. The drone's lights popped like raindrops on fire. It fell dead metal into the snow. The world dimmed. Lyra's knees gave out. Marcus caught her before she hit the ground. "Hey," he said. "Hey, look at me," she tried. The light faded from her skin, leaving it dull and tired. She expected anger, or fear, or that cold human calculation she had seen in distant cities. Instead, Marcus smiled like a sunrise hidden behind clouds. "Thank you," he said. "You saved my life," she wanted to say. "You saved mine first." Instead, she let herself rest for a moment in his arms while the wind moved slow and the snow fell gentle, as if the land itself was breathing again. They reached the outpost just before dusk. It was a low building half buried in frost, door ripped off, roof open to the sky. Marcus checked corners, cleared rooms, then led her to a small control station. "Used to be a relay," he said. "I got the transmitter working once, but the cell died. Maybe we get lucky." They searched through drawers and lockers. They found a dull knife, a cracked visor, a pouch of stale coffee that smelled like memory. No cell. Lyra leaned against the wall. She remembered a storage box she had seen under the front desk. It was a habit from the old life. Look where others forget to look. She knelt and pried the panel open with her nails. Inside lay a dust-coated power cell and a folded cloth with a tiny star stitched in blue. She handed the cell to Marcus. "Will this do?" He took it as if she'd given him gold. "Yes," he said, almost laughing. "Yes, it will." He slotted the cell into the transmitter and pressed a button. The screen flickered. Static hissed. A thin green line appeared, then steadied. Marcus adjusted the dish with frozen fingers and tapped a sequence. He leaned close to the mic. "Rescue Network, this is Survivor Unit Echo 9. Requesting pickup. 2 souls aboard. Coordinates transmitting." They waited. The only answer was the wind through the broken roof. Marcus tried again, Echo 9 requesting pickup. 2 souls, 1 human, 1 Varine civilian. We need medical care and extraction. Lyra watched his face. He was not begging, not apologizing. He was stating facts with a soldier's calm. 2 souls. 1 human, 1 Varine. Equal in the count. A voice finally came, warped by distance, small and cautious. Echo 9, copy barely. Say again, 1 Varine. Marcus didn't hesitate. Affirmative. Under my protection, Elans. Then stand by. They stood by for hours. They spoke in low voices. She told him about the Varine city with sunrise markets and singing bridges. He told her about a sister who loved the ocean on Earth and a dog who hated rain. She laughed for the first time in months. It sounded like a fragile thing that might fly away if she wasn't careful. Close to midnight, the transmitter pinged 3 times. Echo 9, this is patrol ship Ardea. We are inbound. ETA 8 hours. Prepare for pickup at dawn. Marcus looked at Lyra. She looked down at her hands. Dawn. 8 hours felt like both a gift and a knife. She asked the question that sat inside her like a stone. Will they let me board? He didn't lie. I don't know. But they'll hear me before they decide. If they say no, then I walk away, he said simply. And with you, her throat tightened. You would leave your people for me. I'm not leaving my people, he said. I'm choosing what's right. They tried to rest. Lyra slept in soft pieces, waking at every creak. Marcus sat by the door with his rifle, a quiet guardian under a broken sky. When the first light came, a pale ribbon along the east, he woke her with a gentle touch. It's time. They stepped outside. The world was made of blue ice and silver breath. A distant thunder grew, and then the rescue ship cut through the clouds like a sharp wing. It circled once, twice, and dropped toward the old landing pad. Snow and broken leaves swirled in a ring. The hatch opened. 3 humans stepped out in white gear with gold visors, and guns held low but ready. Marcus lifted a hand. Ardea, I'm Marcus Hale, he called. Former forward scout. This is Lyra of the Varine. She is under my protection. She is not a threat. We both need extraction. The leader lifted a hand to her helmet. A voice crackled through an external speaker. Orders are unclear about non-human survivors in the exclusion zone. Then use your judgment, Marcus said. His voice did not shake. She saved my life. I'm not leaving without her. The team looked at one another. For a beat, nothing moved. Lyra stood very still. She would not beg. If this was the end, she would face it with the same quiet she had faced the snow. Finally, the leader spoke again, gently. Understood. Bring her aboard. We will sort politics later. The air left Lyra's lungs in a soft sound. Marcus didn't smile yet. He only nodded once, like a man who had expected to pay with his life and was surprised to find the cost smaller. He helped Lyra up the ramp. The ship's warmth washed over her like summer rain. Inside, the medbay lights were soft. A human medic with warm eyes scanned her and gave her water with a straw. You'll be okay, the medic said. You're safe. Safe. The word finally fit. When the ship rose, the broken land fell away. The outpost became a dot. The dead towers turned to dark lines on a white page. Lyra pressed a hand to the window. Somewhere down there were the last footprints of the 2 people who decided mercy was stronger than old fear. Hours later, Marcus sat in a small briefing room with a camera on the wall. He placed something on the table. Lyra's pendant, a small silver circle etched with a Varine star. I'm recording a statement, he said, and the camera blinked red. This is Marcus Hale. I want the record to show that on the planet we left behind, a Varine woman saved a human life. She wasn't a soldier. She wasn't a monster. She was tired, hungry, cold, and brave. Her name is Lyra of the Varine. If there is justice in our alliances, if there is wisdom in our laws, we remember what she did and what we did next. We chose to help each other. That's the point of calling ourselves civilized. He stopped the recording and sat back. His hands shook a little now that the danger had passed. He laughed at himself quietly. Then he felt a presence and turned. Lyra stood in the doorway with a soft blanket around her shoulders. Her skin had a faint glow again, a quiet echo of the light she carried inside. Thank you, she said. For what? He asked. For not letting me be alone, she said. He nodded. You were never alone, he said. You just forgot for a while. She smiled, real, bright, unafraid, and stepped closer to the window. Stars spilled past like seeds in a dark field. Somewhere a new world waited. Somewhere an old story ended. Between those points, two travelers sat in the same small room, breathing the same air, making the same promise without speaking it aloud. The next time someone is left in the snow, the next time a hand reaches out from the edge, they will answer the way humans should, and the way the Varine now knew humans could. Marcus picked up the pendant and held it out. "This is yours," he said. Lyra closed his fingers around it instead. "Keep it," she said. "Not as a debt, as a memory." He tucked it into his pocket like a compass. The ship turned toward a brighter part of space. Engines hummed. The past fell away in a soft line. The future opened like a door. And somewhere in that quiet, with no flags and no orders, a human and an alien began to build a small bridge that did not need permission to exist. It simply did, because one life had touched another, and both had decided that was enough to change everything.